Good morning, my friends. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in this day. This morning I woke up and I had one of those mornings, I don't know about you, where every day just looks the same. And I had to think, okay, what day is this? This is Friday. But I was just thinking that sometimes the circumstances are getting us down. There is just so much happening. And at the same time, it's like gifts. Every day God gives us the gift of the day, and then it's wrapped the same when we get up, but we have no idea what He holds for us today. So we just have to open His gift and thank Him for His mercies that are new every morning for this day. And so this morning I went to Luke chapter 24, and I love this story because these two are walking to Emmaus, and it's a village very near Jerusalem, but they had a walking distance, and Jesus had just died. He was crucified, and so their hearts are so sad, and they are talking together all these things which had happened. And it came to pass, verse 15, while they were talking together and reasoning, why did this happen? How did it happen? And why this? Why that? And Jesus Himself drew near and went with them. Jesus came near to them and started walking with them. And right now we need to know, we need to believe that He is with us in every situation. But they were not talking about that. They were talking about what had happened to Jesus, so they didn't recognize that it was Jesus. And it says, till they got to their village, and then they said to Him, please come, sit with us and sup with us, because Jesus had started telling them about Himself. They still didn't recognize Him as much as He was explaining to them. But when they sat down, their eyes were open. So circumstances, sometimes we just don't realize the Lord is right there with us. And it's this morning I woke up with this verse just through the night. It kept going in my mind. And it was 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 8. Paul the apostle writes, God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that you always, having all sufficiency in all things, may abound to every good work. I'm not the one using all these words, but Paul the apostle is saying He is able to give you the grace you need for your day. And what amazes me about the Lord is so personal. He is so personal with us. When He gives you His word and the Holy Spirit expounds it for you, it is just for you today. So receive His word. He is able to give you all grace today for your situation. And a few years ago, in a time where our son Benjamin had just graduated from college, and our daughter was in first year of college, and Benjamin wanted to take a year off before he went to law school. That was his plan. And God has changed that since then. He's serving the Lord now in the church as our pastor. But at the time, he wanted to take a year off, and he wanted to go to Russia, and he wanted to go to India, and he wanted to go to Lebanon and stay in my grandparents' house. My aunt was there. And so all these things he wanted to do, and it was like I just had to go along with it, and it was going to be for a few months. But I just didn't like it. And so I was very distraught. And the last weekend, I had signed up to go to Birmingham with some friends of mine for a conference that was by Priscilla Shirer. And I never forget, I was so upset that that weekend was the same weekend as the conference, but God had a plan for me. As I was sitting in the meeting, in that huge arena, 14,000 women packed, Priscilla was talking about the arrow, and she had an arrow in her hand. I don't remember anything else, but she had quiver in the back, and she took an arrow, and she said, you're holding on, let go. Let go of what you're holding on, because God has purposes for that arrow He's going to just send forth. And at the end, when she asked for prayer, I knelt right where I was. And while she was praying, the Lord showed me a picture of me at 7 years old in our Salem Evangelistic Center Daddy had started in Lebanon, where I gave my heart to the Lord. I saw myself giving myself totally to the Lord, to His plan. And then I saw Terry and I, Jennifer, and we're holding Benjamin, and we handed him to my dad who had come to dedicate him to the Lord. And the Lord showed me that picture, and he said, your children belong to me. You have dedicated them to me. So now let go so I can do what I can do with them. And I said, I let go, Lord, I let go. And in the spirit, I let go of that of that arrow in my hand. And then just a few hours, 30 minutes later, I'm sitting outside eating with my friend, and two people came and sat with us, and it was like 30 degrees outside, and they sat with us, and they said, can we eat with you? And so they were from Canada, and we were talking, and one of them said, my daughter is in Jerusalem right now, and she's 18, and the Lord is doing great things in her. And I said, Jerusalem? I said, wow, you sent your daughter. And the Lord was speaking to me, and I said, my daddy grew up in Jerusalem. And they said, who is your daddy? And I said, Samuel Doctorian. And they both almost fell out of their chairs. And they said, we know him. He comes to our church always. And I said, how did you? And they said, who are you? And I said, I'm his daughter. And so they were encouraging me, pastors' wives from Canada. The Lord had brought them 14,000 people. They happened to be at my table to let me know God can do great things with our children when we let go and put them in the hands of the Lord. Pray for them and just send them, because God has plans for them that we can't fulfill by ourselves. He is able to make all grace abound towards you today. For whatever situation you're holding on to, let it go. Put it in the hands of the Lord. Today, He has made this day, and He is pouring His grace and mercy on this day for you and I, so that we can have all sufficiency to be doing every good work He's planned for us, for you and I. Each one of us in our own corner. Let's go today with knowing the Lord is with us today. Be blessed today.